Hi, and welcome to M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers Podcast. I'm Jamie, your host and the dyer behind m1yarns.com. And today I have a fun finished object review video for you. I'm in a different background than usual because today I am at Stitch Up Chicago, which is a fibery event. And I just got ready to go attend the first event of the weekend, and I decided to wear my fresh off the needles Mutations. That's what this is called, and I am not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The designer, Camila, oh gosh, I am so bad with names. I will insert her name on the screen here. But I believe she is Spanish. And so the name of the pattern is more like a Spanish version of Mutations. So I don't know if it would be like Mutaciones. I got a D in high school Spanish, so I really apologize. I've learned more Spanish on trips to Spanish-speaking countries. Good life experience. We digress. This is about not my poor language skills, but my knitting skills. And this pattern has been in my queue for quite some time. I have intended to knit a 5-color fade with the pattern, but what I really like about the pattern and what I really want to talk about today is this really cool, hopefully you can see it, saddle shoulder shaping. So it's not a standard circular yoke, and it's definitely not a raglan, because you don't get, I mean, you have, you know, these increases, but you know, you increase right here at the top of the shoulder until you get to the edge of the shoulder, which I thought was really interesting, and I think it creates a nice effect. So I made some modifications to this, so I want to walk you through it just so that you're aware of these things to think about in case you want to knit this pattern. And sorry, my hair keeps getting in the way. So let's talk about the yarn. That's a good starting place. The yarn is a yarn in my shop called Luxe Yak, and it's 50/50 yak and silk. And so it's very drapey, very light. The pattern calls for a fingering weight to be knit on a size 3 needle. And I am a loose knitter. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I talk a lot about how I struggle with gauge problems because I'm so loose. So I actually knit this on a size 0, which I know sounds really cringy, but it was not painful physically or mentally. So as long as you get gauge, that's all that matters, right? So the pattern calls for like a mock turtleneck, which is what is on the inside. So you cast on up here and you knit down in 1x1 rib, and then you start your yoke increases. Well, I had done all that. I put the project on my SOS cords, which I'll link to in the shop below, which are great for trying on your project as you go so you get a good fit. And I'm glad I did, because I realized that I actually don't love mock turtlenecks. I love double thick turtlenecks. But I didn't want to rip out, like I had this much, so I didn't want to rip that out. So what I did, I picked up my cast on edge, which you can actually see right there, and then I knit basically a second layer. And because this yarn has a lot of silk in it, it's very kind of floppy. So it wasn't ideal for what I did. Had it been merino or like an 80/20 kind of yarn, my turtleneck would have stayed up. But I kind of like it because it's like a mix of a turtleneck and a cowl neck. I just snagged my sleeve on my jewelry, so that was smart. Anyway, so my turtleneck is double thick, which for me, I like. So if you don't like turtleneck, you could just cast on and then begin the yoke. If you like mock turtleneck, you could just follow the pattern. That's what I love about knitting. You can just do what works for you. So then I did the saddle shoulder increases, which is like you're increasing on the front and the back, and then this is just kind of growing straight out. And then you proceed with raglan down the armpit section. Really love it. I really love that the overall fabric of this project is super light. It's a mid-April day. It's actually kind of warm today, but I'm pretty comfortable because it's just thin, you know? And so I'm really getting into fingering weight sweaters because I feel like then you can layer them too. So I have it tucked into my pants, but it does have a 1x1 hem at the bottom. I did more rapid sleeve decreases than the pattern called for, but that's because I'm short. I have shorter arms, and generally I find that patterns, I have to kind of do what works for me instead of follow the pattern, which I think is so important for everyone, whether you have short arms or long arms or maybe bigger biceps or whatever it is. Like, patterns aren't one size fits all. So that's always my tip, is like, measure everything on your body, not just your bust, your biceps, your arm length. I like to do waist decreases, which is a good question because I'm trying to remember if I did them. I don't see any on here, so maybe I didn't this time, but I usually do. Had I thought about it before, I don't know. I like the fit. I think it's good. No worries. So overall, the pattern is super well written, and if Spanish is your native tongue, you will probably really enjoy knitting a Spanish written pattern, but it is also available fully in English, and it's well written for English readers. And I just have all good things to say about this. I feel like this sweater is going to get a lot of wear. The yarn itself is very luxurious and soft and drapey and all the things that we really like. It feels cool to the touch with the silk. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Another good finished object. So thanks for joining me here. If you decide to knit this or you're thinking about it and you have questions, feel free to drop me a comment below. Meanwhile, if you don't mind giving me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, that helps me battle YouTube's annoying algorithms. And if you are interested in more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below and the bell, and then you'll get notified when I drop videos, which is about once a week or so, whenever I have something fun to talk about with y'all. All right, I hope your knitting is going well. I hope you consider knitting this pattern, and if you do, let me know. I'd love to see your finished object. Until next time, happy knitting. Bye.